On the 1st of May 2026, at an ice rink in Hyogo, just 2 weeks after announcing her retirement, Miura stood quietly before the microphone and said she believes that in pair skating, meeting your partner is destiny. And in that moment, the 253 people in the room fell completely silent. But how many of them truly understood what she meant? Riku used that word while explaining the title of her new ice show, saying it was the reason behind the name Destiny. Yet it felt like something far bigger than just a show description. It felt like a declaration. Because on the very first day she stood in front of people after retiring, the word she chose was destiny, not to describe the past 7 years, but to define what comes next. And maybe, just maybe, she wasn't talking about what had been, but what is about to begin. In today's video, we're diving into what lies ahead for Riku and Ryuichi, because while one chapter called Competition has closed, a brand new story has already started, and that story is called Destiny. And the moment Riku chose that word, it felt like her real journey had just begun, because that gold medal was never the finish line, it was only the opening chapter of something much bigger. Just 2 weeks after retirement, Ryuichi Kihara and Riku Miura were already in motion, and their appearance in the Blue Ice show on May 1st marked the very first step. But when the details of Destiny were revealed, people were stunned by the scale of it. From July 31st to August 2nd at Tokyo Ice Arena, this isn't just another ice show. It carries 2 revolutionary ideas that define everything they are trying to build. The first is something Ryuichi emphasized: the size of the rink. He made it clear that their biggest priority is to perform on a rink almost identical to competition size, because until now, many ice shows simply couldn't fully showcase the true intensity of pairs and ice dance due to space limitations. But with a full-sized rink, the speed, the power, the realism, it all comes alive almost exactly like a real competition. The second is what Riku focused on: the theme. She said she wants to create a show packed with the true beauty of pairs and ice dance, and because she believes meeting your partner is destiny, she wanted that word to be at the heart of it all. And when you put these 2 ideas together, something becomes very clear. Ryuichi is chasing authenticity in performance, while Riku is chasing authenticity in emotion. Just like during their competitive years, they are still pursuing both technique and feeling at the highest level. This obsession with the rink size reveals something deeper about Ryuichi himself. He doesn't compromise. If it's not real, it doesn't matter. And that mindset, built over 7 years in Canada, hasn't changed even after turning professional. But before we go further into Destiny, there's something even bigger you need to understand. Right after their retirement announcement, Naoki Kimoto, the head of the Kimoto Group, revealed a long-term plan. He said they are planning to create a 3rd academy in the future with Ryuichi and Riku. And right now, the group already has 2 academies, one led by coach Mie Hamada in Kyoto, and another led by Mao Asada in Tokyo. And the 3rd will be the Riku-Ryu Academy. He also made it clear that both Ryuichi and Riku will eventually become coaches, but it will take time. They need qualifications and years of experience, starting as assistant coaches, and at the same time, they are expected to balance 2 missions, promoting the beauty of pair skating and studying to become top-level coaches. Think about the weight of that statement. Ryuichi and Riku are being placed alongside names like Mie Hamada and Mao Asada. This is not just a post-retirement path. This is a new role that could shape the future of Japanese figure skating. And within those words lies a deep level of trust, not just in them as athletes, but as architects of change. So why could the Riku-Ryu Academy transform pair skating in Japan? The answer lies in their own experience. At their retirement press conference, Ryuichi explained that Japan doesn't have enough pair skating coaches, which forces beginners to go abroad just to take the first step. And that barrier is incredibly high. But if they become coaches, that first step could be taken inside Japan, lowering the barrier and allowing more skaters to even try. Riku shared the same reality, saying when they started, there were no pair coaches in Japan, so they had to move overseas immediately. And while that helped them grow, it also came with huge challenges like language barriers, distance, and financial strain. And because they went through all of that, they want to remove those obstacles for the next generation. When you put their words together, the vision becomes crystal clear. They don't want the next generation to struggle the way they did. They want to eliminate the barriers of language, distance, and cost, and create a system where young skaters in Japan can dream of pairs without having to leave everything behind just to begin. 2 weeks after retiring, she stepped in front of a mic and said one word that changed everything: destiny. And in that moment, no one realized they were witnessing the beginning of something far bigger than a comeback, because the barriers they faced, only they truly understand how high they were after spending 7 years fighting through them in Canada, and now breaking those barriers has become their next competition. And the vision of the Riku-Ryu Academy may carry as much weight as their gold medal, maybe even more, because this academy is not just about them. It is a gift to every future pair that comes after them. In March 2026, the president of the Kimoto Group invited Ryuichi and Riku to his home, where the three spent hours discussing the future, later revealing that he first heard about their retirement that very day, and immediately shifted the conversation toward one crucial question: how to make pair skating more recognized, loved, and sustained across Japan, how to turn this moment into something that lasts. And while the full details of that night remain private, one thing is certain. From that moment forward, every action taken by Riku and Ryuichi has been focused in one direction: changing the future of pair skating in Japan, the production of Destiny, their nationwide promotion efforts, and the creation of the Riku-Ryu Academy are not separate ideas but connected pieces of one massive blueprint. First, Destiny introduces fans to the beauty of pairs, then national tours expand that passion across the country. Then the Academy develops the next generation. And finally, those skaters stand on the Olympic podium, a complete system already mapped out in their minds. And when you see it this way, it becomes clear that their journey as competitors did not end, but evolved into something greater. This is the beginning of Riku and Ryuichi as architects. Because while many gold medalists become coaches, it is extremely rare for them to take on the responsibility of designing an entire national system, something Japan has never seen before. But this vision cannot be achieved by determination alone, because the challenges in Japanese pair skating go deeper than just the absence of coaches. As Ryuichi explained, the training environment has improved over time, yet the lack of pair coaches still forces beginners to go abroad just to take their first step, and within that reality lies the true reason Japan struggled for over 70 years at the Olympic level. Without coaches and proper structure, even talented athletes could not begin. Ryuichi faced this same barrier when he switched to pairs in 2013, and when Riku reached out to him in 2019, they had no choice but to move to Canada immediately, spending 7 years there because it was the only path to becoming the best in the world. And that experience shaped their understanding at the deepest level, which is why the meaning of the Academy runs so deep. It represents a future where young skaters can begin pair skating without leaving Japan, where the first step can finally happen at home. And that single idea may be the most important part of their entire vision, because their mission is no longer just to win gold, but to create a system where the next generation can chase it. And Riku made that vision clear when she said she wants her students to sweep the podium, not just one champion, but multiple athletes trained under their system, dominating the Olympic stage. A system-level dream similar to what countries like Russia and China have built over years, something Japan has never had. Until now, Japan relied on a miracle in the form of Riku and Ryuichi themselves. But after breaking through that barrier, the goal is no longer to wait for another miracle, but to build a system that creates them. And that is exactly what her words represent. A structure that produces champions again and again, revealing a deeper side of who she is. A young gold medalist not focused on personal victories, but on building a future for others, a perspective that defines her character. And when we return to the concept of destiny, there is another detail many overlooked: the choice of using the English word instead of Japanese, a decision that carries global meaning. Because after years of training in Canada, English became natural to them, and the show itself is not just a message for Japan but for the world. If successful, it could attract international attention and bring foreign skaters and coaches toward Japan, turning Destiny into a gateway that opens Japanese pair skating to a global stage. And that small decision reflects their larger mindset, working for Japan while thinking globally, a dual vision that defines their identity. At their retirement press conference, they were asked to describe their career in one word, and both answered the same: effort, with Ryuichi adding that they had seen each other's dedication even in moments unseen by others, and without it they would not be where they are. That shared answer was not coincidence, but the result of 7 years chasing the same goal, and now everything they do after retirement. From producing Destiny to preparing the Academy to studying for coaching certification is simply a continuation of that effort. Even when they received national recognition on the same day as their retirement, they chose to focus on the future, expressing gratitude while committing to continue growing pair skating, showing that they never stop. Not after winning gold, not after retiring, and not even after being honored, because that relentless drive defines them. Although one major challenge still remains becoming certified coaches, which Ryuichi acknowledged could take 4 to 5 years, possibly until around 2030, And while that may seem long to some, it is actually short compared to the 7 years it took them to reach gold, making it more of a preparation phase than a delay. And during that time, they will not stand still, but continue producing shows, promoting pairs nationwide, gaining experience as assistant coaches, and studying in Canada, every moment carefully planned just like during their competitive years. And when the president expressed his expectation for them to balance promoting the sport with studying, it showed the deep trust placed in their ability to succeed. And now with Destiny set to take place from July 31st to August 2nd, everything is already moving forward, not as a single event, but as the first step of a much larger system and legacy that Riku and Ryuichi are building piece by piece. The moment the cast was announced, Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara stood at the center alongside other pair and ice dance skaters, and that alone carries a deeper meaning, because this is Japan's first ice show built around couple disciplines, something that challenges the tradition where women's singles have always taken the spotlight, with stars leading the stage while pairs and ice dance were often treated as supporting acts. Even the rink sizes were reduced, limiting the true power of speed and lifts that define pairs. And Ryuichi witnessed that reality for 7 years, which is exactly why he insisted on using a full competition-sized rink. No compromises, only authenticity, because that is how they operate. Two people meet, build trust, and create a single performance together. And that connection, that sense of destiny, is the true essence of pair skating that Riku wants to convey, which is why Destiny is not just a technical showcase, but a stage driven by emotion. And this could become a turning point in Japan's pair skating history, because for the first time, audiences will experience the full intensity of pairs exactly as it is in competition. And that experience will spark interest, that interest will inspire the next generation. And Destiny becomes more than a show, it becomes the first gateway leading toward the Academy and the future they are building. And when you look at how the world is reacting, it becomes even clearer. International media are not calling this an ending, they are calling it a beginning, with outlets describing their mission as something that goes far beyond the gold medal, suggesting that their next chapter may be even more important than their Olympic victory, and framing them as the pair that changed Japanese skating and is now building its future, while analysts in Korea warn that if the Riku-Ryu Academy becomes reality, Japan could become a major threat within a decade. European voices describe this not as retirement, but as a foundation being created. And Chinese media even point out that their transition into coaching is something to watch closely. Because when you line up all these reactions, one truth stands out: the world sees this as the start of something bigger. Back in Japan, the response is just as intense. Fans are already saying they will do anything to get tickets for Destiny. Others are talking about enrolling their children in the academy someday, while many are eager to see them become coaches as soon as possible. And this level of passion shows that Riku and Ryuichi have grown beyond being athletes. They have become something rooted in society itself, because people are no longer just waiting to watch them perform, they are waiting to see what they will build next. And here is the key point. The Riku-Ryu Academy is not simply about two athletes becoming coaches. It is part of a much larger system already taking shape when you consider the existing academies under the same group. One focused on technical strength and strategy, another on artistry and expression, and then this third one centered on pairs and couple disciplines. You begin to see the full blueprint, 3 pillars that together could transform Japanese figure skating into a system capable of competing with the world, not through individual talent alone, but as an organized force. And that final missing piece is exactly what Riku and Ryuichi represent. The day all 3 systems stand together could mark a true turning point. The moment Japan no longer needs to rely on foreign coaches or overseas training to win. The moment independence is finally achieved, and that moment begins the day the Riku-Ryu Academy opens. Another detail many fans have already noticed is how often they continue to use the phrase "together" even after retirement. Their announcement, their press conference, the production of Destiny, and even the Academy itself are all described in terms of the two of them. And that repetition is not accidental, because during competition, they performed as a pair, but after retirement, they continue to move forward as two individuals choosing to stay aligned. And within that subtle shift lies a deeper evolution of their relationship, no longer defined only by sport but by shared purpose. When Riku said that meeting your partner is destiny, that idea did not end with competition. It continues now and will continue into the future, and every time they say "together," that meaning grows stronger. Because some connections do not end when the performance does, they keep going beyond it. So here is the question. If you could use the word destiny in your own life, Is there a meeting you would call by that name? Because Riku chose that word not as a description of skating, but as something personal, something that now extends into the future through the academy and the next generation stepping onto the ice. The gold medal proved their past, but destiny and the academy declare their future. On the 31st of July 2026, when the curtain rises at Tokyo Ice Arena, it will not just be the start of a show, it will be the beginning of a new chapter in their story. And from that moment forward, everything they are building will continue to unfold. If this story left something with you, make sure to subscribe and leave a like, and more importantly, share your thoughts. What does Destiny mean to you? And if you are planning to watch Destiny, let it be known, because your voice becomes part of this story as it grows. And as the event draws closer, one question remains. What kind of days are Riku and Ryuichi living right now? Some small glimpses have already surfaced. Ryuichi joked about wanting to travel across America in a camper van after retirement, drawing laughter from the room, while Riku smiled and told him to go alone, but he quickly added that he would want to invite her along. And on the surface, it sounds like a simple exchange, but when you look closer, it reveals something deeper. After spending nearly every day together for 7 years, the idea of doing something alone may not even come naturally anymore. The competition has ended, but the habit of together remains. And in that casual moment, without grand words or dramatic declarations, you can see the most honest reflection of their bond. Just one simple thought, wanting to share the journey. That quiet moment says everything about where they are now. So the real question is, what exactly are they preparing for Destiny? And based on the official details, the concept is simple but powerful. To deliver the full appeal of pair and ice dance at the highest level, centered around Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara, with other top couple discipline skaters joining them, performed on a rink almost identical to competition size, with a runtime of about 2.5 hours, including an intermission, and even before opening night, the tickets have already started drawing massive attention. But the most important thing about this show is not the program itself. It is the fact that this is the first project Riku and Ryuichi are releasing as producers, not as athletes standing on the ice, but as creators shaping the entire experience, and that shift in role is a completely new challenge, because during their competitive years, the direction came from coaches and they executed it. But now, they are the ones deciding everything, what to show, what emotions to deliver, and what the audience takes home. And this experience of making those decisions is exactly what prepares them for running an academy in the future. Because being a coach is not just about teaching skills, it is about having a vision for what kind of athletes you want to develop. And Destiny becomes the training ground where that vision begins to take shape. When you step back and look at the bigger picture of Japanese figure skating, you start to understand just how important their post-retirement role really is. Because if you look at the current state of pair skating in Japan, there are promising next-generation teams, but the gap between them and the world's top level is still significant. And closing that gap requires more than just technique or mental strength. It requires understanding how to build trust between two people over time. The ability to move as one, something Riku and Ryuichi spent 7 years developing, and that knowledge is something only they truly possess. At their future academy, they won't just teach jumps or lifts, they will teach how to build trust with a partner, how to recover after failure, how to prepare mentally the night before a major competition, how to grow stronger together after injuries. These are lessons that don't exist in textbooks. They come from lived experience. And passing that experience to the next generation is where the true value of the Riku-Ryu Academy lies. In April 2026, on the same day they held their retirement press conference, they were also honored at a national level, spoke to fans about their journey, and continued preparing for Destiny and the Academy, all within a single day where past, present, and future existed at the same time, the past recognized through their achievements, the present shared through gratitude, and the future declared through their plans. And that level of intensity reflects who they are. People who never waste a moment, who move forward with purpose, whether in competition or after it. Ryuichi once said that everything they did was for skating, and that mindset has not changed. Only the meaning has evolved. It is no longer about winning for themselves, but about transforming skating in Japan, and within that shift lies the full story of their growth. Looking ahead, there are 3 things we know for certain. First, Destiny will open from July 31st to August 2nd. Second, they will begin nationwide efforts to spread pair skating across Japan. And third, after earning their coaching qualifications in the coming years, the Riku-Ryu Academy will be established, and when these 3 stages unfold one after another, Japan's pair skating landscape will be completely transformed. Right now, Japan is a country where you have to go abroad to even begin pair skating, but in the future, they are building. It becomes a country where you can start at home, train in your own language, and grow while watching the very athletes who once stood at the top. And when that environment becomes reality, Japanese pair skating will evolve from a one-time miracle into a sustainable system. Because a miracle happens once, but a system can create miracles again and again. And that is the difference they understand better than anyone after 7 years at the highest level, which is why their actions after retirement are so clear and so fast. I truly believe the next 10 years of Riku and Ryuichi's journey will have an even greater impact than their competitive career. Because a gold medal is a moment in history, but what they are building now could become history itself. And now, think back to that one sentence Riku said on May 1st, that meeting your partner in couple disciplines is destiny. Because after everything you have seen, that word no longer feels like just emotion. It feels like something real, something that takes form as a show, grows into an academy, and continues through the next generation stepping onto the ice. That destiny is no longer just about the two of them. It is about every child who will begin pair skating, every future team that will rise. And the moment Japan stands on equal ground with the world, all of it exists within that single word. If this story meant something to you, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. And more importantly, share your thoughts. What does destiny mean to you? And if you are planning to watch Destiny, let that excitement be heard, because your voice becomes part of this journey as it continues to unfold. And in the next video, we will keep uncovering the human truth behind the numbers, right here.